Hey, hello, everyone. To this wonderful, warm day. Can't wait until Saturday.
Saturday.
80 degrees.
Oh my gosh.
Saturday and Sunday are gonna be warm, and then.
That was pretty close.
Okay, they need to find.
Well, this is the March Board of Directors meeting for your event. Welcome to all, and we have a policy together, we have everything except for you. So do I have a motion to adopt the agenda? And a second.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, resident forum on agenda items only, if anyone would like to speak to an agenda item. Okay. Let's see, approval of the board of directors meeting minutes from last month, February. Any has to go through, read, changes, fixes, adaptations? Yes. Okay. With that change, we have a motion to approve the board of directors meeting minutes. Second, all in favor? Motion's approved. Audra.
Oops.
Oops. Oopsie.
She's not there.
Okay. We should be late. Let's go to activities and pay.
I'm here.
Hello, everybody. This on. The activities committee met on Friday, March 14th. We discussed a few new programs to happen this spring, including a puzzle competition with teams, which will be similar to the format for a trip. Really?
Can't hear you.
Yeah. Without this?
I can hear you fine.
Okay. We discussed a few new programs to happen this spring, including a puzzle competition for teams, which will be along the same idea as the trivia thing on Wednesday night. So they're hoping to have 4 to 6 people on the team doing similar puzzles and race to finish them. So that should be interesting. There's a discussion about having a celebration of 10 years since Leisure World became Lansdowne Woods. And that would probably happen sometime late spring or early fall, because we're hoping to have it outside. New trips are being planned all the time and are increasingly popular. There's still no movies over at the clubhouse because we're still having technical difficulties there. So as always, remember, stay informed about upcoming programs by reading your connector. Any questions?
Any questions for her? Right, thank you. Budget and finance next, but I know Bob's not here. I don't see Charlie, so I guess we'll go with what they submitted in their report. Building and grounds, Bree or Tuck? Yeah, you kind of.
Maybe we should put it over here. Maybe we
Testing. Building and grounds met, and the landscaping for the front of the building has been approved. It was forwarded to budget and finance, and it was approved there. So now we'll wait for the work to be done. Also, Yellowstone continues with work on the grounds, with, tree removal, filling up, picking up all the, leftovers from the winter storm. So all looks good. Flowers are blooming, birds are up and about, so get out there and enjoy it. Don't eat the cigarette butts, and please don't eat the dog stuff.
By the way, I'm just following up on what Marie just said. I want to thank Ken Womack for his We went to both buildings and grounds and budget and finance and presented our argument to them as well. And they responded very favorably, as we know. So thank you, Ken, for your testimony at the board, at both committee meetings. Very good. Okay, Marie Kelly on communications.
I think you can hear me from here, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. The Communications Committee tried to meet on the 14th of March. We did not have a quorum. As a result, we couldn't do anything official such as taking, votes of any type. But the few of us that were there made a couple of suggestions for articles in the future connector. And it looks as if those will be done eventually. The connector came out just fine without an official meeting, and I'm sure that you'll enjoy it this month as usual.
Okay, thank you. I'm sure you will. That's a good job. I saw it today. Lansdowne Conservancy. I know they're having a meeting on,
The 10th,
I think it's April
10th.
10th. And part of the meeting is going to include the presidents of each of the buildings here on our campus, as well as the president of Vistas and, what's that?
Overlook?
No. It's the outside, small cadence president. Because they're trying to work on getting a representative for senior class representative for the senior class buildings. And hopefully, we will get through all that. That's going to be at the main building in the Lansdowne Town Center, that they have their hall. And I think it's at 2 p.m. Okay. Just in case you want to go, find out what's going on with the senior class. All right, we'll move on to Riverbend Committee meeting reports and activities. Helen or Laura?
Can I stay here?
If you have, yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, we had the baked potato luncheon, and I think it was very much enjoyed. And there was one snafu with unauthorized use of the refrigerator and some of our dessert went missing. Otherwise, it came off very well, and upcoming events are include our breakfast for dinner on Thursday, April the 10th. And you can sign up for that out here, and be sure to remember to pay after you sign up. I've got to do that. And then we have an Asian dinner in May, and that's always well received. And don't forget our bingo on the second Wednesday, and trivia on the third Sunday, and dinner at Marie's on the third Wednesday. And you all reminded of all of those things. Any questions?
Okay, one thing I think we discussed after the unauthorized removal is to put a camera in there so that you go into the kitchen and will be seen.
Ah.
Just think that you are being seen right now. Okay, budget and finance, Bob or Victoria? Bob's not here, Victoria's not here. Knows what they gave us in their report. All right, Ken, building facilities.
I don't have much to say really,
Because
but there was nothing that we voted on at our meeting here, but as you just said, Jack, the landscaping and the solar lights between budget and finance, building and grounds, so it'll go to the board of members, their first meeting in April. That was about it. The only other thing, Debbie had sent our Riverbend information to Vertical Consultants. This firm will then send out our information to 40 cell tower companies looking for cell sites. And we just wait and see what happens. That was all.
Okay, thank you. Communications, Jolene.
Yeah, we got a newsletter out again. We are planning in June to have a section on interesting wedding experiences. We've discovered a lot of people had very interesting wedding experiences. So if you are among them, please write a little something up and send it in to me or to Joyce. And that'll be for June. We have also proposed a supplement to the directory so that people who move in the first 6 months of the year and people who are inadvertently missed can have their names in the directory. Now, my idea was just a little one-page typed up supplement, but Debbie took it and really created something.
That's not what you're supposed to do. Why'd you do
So-
that?
If you have,
Why did it?
and it will also include things like committee member names. So that if you want to get in touch with someone on building and facilities, you can. But if you weren't in, or if you haven't signed a permission to be in it, because we don't want to include anyone who doesn't want to be in it. You'll be hearing a request to come down to the office and sign a permission slip. And please do so. Without your permission, you will not be listed. That's it. Okay?
What about interesting honeymoon experience?
Oh, well. Okay. August 19th.
Say that for August.
No, you can see.
The June.
All right, let's move on to covenants. Lisa or Elizabeth?
Jack, been tonight.
Oh,
You called me as a.
okay. Is that chief for this?
They're not.
Correct.
They're two different.
We don't want to start a rumor. Our covenants committee met on March 13th. And the most important thing is all of these valve change applications that we've received. We ratified about 11 at the meeting. And Nikki is grouping all of the remainder of the ones. And she had said there'll be as many as 40, but we'll wait and see what happens as far as that's concerned. We also are going to start inspecting the balconies. The balconies will be inspected in the spring and the garage areas in the fall to see if there are any violations. And Marge Ailes is going to put something in around the bend dealing with balcony inspections so that people know, basically that they're going to be inspected. And other than that, that's it. And the next meeting is April 10th.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? I guess we'll find out more about balconies in the connect or around the bend.
Correct.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to the management reports and Adam.
Good afternoon, everyone. For the month of February, we had several different things happen. First, the backflow assembly replacement in the pump room has been completed. I received the Water Authority report stating both valves have passed inspection. Both backflow valves will be rebuilt every 5 years and inspected yearly from here on out. One of the 4 recirculator pumps for the tankless water heater failed. We purchased a new one and Sheldon and I replaced it. We have a 1-year warranty on that pump. And there are 4 of the pumps total and 2 of them are now new. Rooftop fan 63 that serves the 20-tier kitchen stack needs to be replaced. We tried to make a repair to the fan to keep the noise down, but we were unsuccessful as the inner bearing on the impeller shaft had failed. A new fan has been ordered and will arrive March 18th. It has arrived, it has been installed. It's still making some noise on the 11th floor of vibration, so we're looking into getting some rubber bushings and some noise isolation that we can put in there and try to make that as quiet as possible. But the fan is working, so the smells have now gone away. It's just making it a noise on the 11th floor now, so. We had a water leak on the 8th floor outside of unit 814. We found that the leak was coming from the cold water line that supplies the master bathroom for 814. All the repairs have been made. We do have a drip coming in the upper A garage that we haven't been able to locate yet. We're gonna be dedicating some more time this week. We did look at it a little bit more. We're getting a little bit closer to finding where that's coming from. Any questions?
Thank you, Adam. We'll move on to Debbie, your report.
We had one move in for February. And then Nikki conducted 3 orientations, and we have 2 units for sale. It's unit 520 and 503. 220, knock it off of there, please, I didn't. And then, the engineers, they completed 116 tickets. 14 were building tickets, and that's common area tickets. 11 were put on hold for payment, and 7 are still open for various reasons. But all that has changed because that was at the end of February. We had 2 window replacements, and then the engineers conducted scheduled water shutoffs for 1. We have 1 total shutoff. Sorry, I'm thinking March, and I was like, no, we had way more than that, but we only have 1 for February. And then, we have 1 water leak, and that was in a unit, and the guys took care of that. We're reviewing, Adam and I still have to meet for the reserve study. And I did send out the RFP, and we have responses back, and so we're working on scheduling interviews with those companies. And I'm working on the RFP for a facade study, and then we're gathering information for the community room renovations. Management asked Beck Engineering to do a water test for the incoming water source from Loudoun County. This will be billed hourly. And the reason for this is to find out if we need a water softener or a water filtration system, or if we need them both. So they're determining what we need. All of us, the whole team has looked into noise complaints. We think it may have been resolved, but we do not know for sure. It's the noises. You can be in a unit 1101 and the noise is coming from 1118, and it's hard to find out where the noise is. So sound travels just like the water, least path of resistance. And I'm not saying you make a lot of noise.
It's not coming from me.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, I was just trying to explain how it can be so weird, because you can be on the A side and you still hear it off the B side. You can be on the 11th floor and hear it from the office.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. The reserves, as I said, Adam and I are still looking at that. We've got 1 more to go. And that should be off our plate soon. Well, as soon as the committees approve it and everything. So, the audit, earlier in the month, I had to pull extra things to send to the auditor, and, Jack will talk more about that. Beck Engineering has been asked to do a garage assessment for some residents wanting to have electric cars plugged in and have the chargers put in. So they're coming in to do that. We just don't have a date yet. It's a lot of stuff to put together. And then again, first off, the working group that did the rejuvenation concept, they did a really great job. And so hopefully it'll get it past the board of members at LWVA. So, who knows when that'll get started. And then, they did have lights. They recommended the lights for out front along the sidewalk, and that is going to the board also. Future items is the spring HVAC inspections. Screen removal will be in June, and then the window washing. And then screen installment in June. I really worked hard to, plan the intrusion of us coming into your units to, like, I tried to avoid Easter with the HVAC, so hopefully we got it all good for everybody and everybody be happy when they came. And so I tried to work with y'all. And that's about it.
Okay, good question. The window washing is in June.
Yes,
Okay.
it'll be through June 9th through June 13th.
That's a little asking when's window.
Yeah.
It's more like a summer washing.
Yes, yes,
Okay. Thank you.
you're
All right,
welcome.
we'll go on to our treasurer's report.
Okay, right now we have 1,423,685 in total assets. Our liabilities are $90,034. Our total equity is $1,333,651. Our replacement reserves are $1,141,790. Our operating reserves are $176,464. And as of now, we have a surplus for this year already of $15,397. Our total asset summary is we have in operating reserves, $123,251. In replacement reserves, we have $1,009,734, which gives us total assets of $1,133,085. We have done really well with our CDs and everything. The interest rate on the savings accounts in both the operating reserves and replacement reserves is still over 4%, which is really good. We have CDs. Now, we have one that just came due in March 3rd, and that was converted into a new CD at 4.1%. So we're still doing quite well with our CDs. We have some that are in the 3% range, and our CDs are very well balanced in terms of when they come due for future use for replacement reserve expenses. That's about it. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, that's some good news both for this current budget
Yes.
and our audited budget.
Yes, it does.
Okay, thank you. And speaking of really good, I know definitely alluded to it. It's one of our things I'm hoping we can accomplish this year is finishing off the party. And we have the reserves, we have the surplus, which we are going to look at to put towards this, not the whole thing, but enough to make this finally a dream come true for everybody. That's what I'm hoping. We'll see if that happens. All right, we'll move on to new business. We have a chance for variance, so look back to variance reports and stuff. Any questions? Okay. All right, the new thing is the resolution policy, resolution number 19 on banding. We hope we have a chance to go through this. That particular resolution comes from, I guess, two places. One's that's in our own version, and LWPA put together a banding resolution that they adopted. But really starts at the association level. The authorities operating in the banking. The LWPA doesn't have to console the building and say, oh, you can have that person here and this. Buildings have to do that. Which is why we have this resolution in front of us today. Hopefully everyone has had a chance to read it. And I don't know if we have, we'll move the motion first and then we'll have discussion. Okay? So the motion on the banding is where is that motion?
27.
Oh, therefore. It just says, basically, I move to adopt resolution number 19 as a policy resolution on banning. And do I have a motion to do that?
So
Don, you want to second it? Okay. All right, let's have any discussion. Yes, okay.
I'm still concerned about how we're going to. You know. Again, if we put the ban in. And is Deborah supposed to be an officer of the law?
No.
I mean, how do we get to the enforcement?
If the enforcement side, both here and at LWDA, is if a banned person comes on campus, we call the police. Police come and take care of it, not us. Our security company is not involved, and individual personnel here are not involved.
And then the security, when the police come, will they? Doesn't say that like an order by a court to prevent you. That is enforceable by the police. Is this the same venue? Is that what our lawyers tell us? It's the same things. The same venue. When you call the police, they'll come pursuant to this ban, correct?
They should. It's,
And in the past, they have.
mhm.
I mean, they will enforce it based
Yes.
upon what this ban allows.
Yes.
The same as a court order.
and if the person is banned, it's considered, if they come back, it's considered a class one.
So I'm not, all of that I agree with.
Okay.
I have no disagreement with anything except I don't want Deborah being a police officer.
Well, I'm not running them down or chasing them, so.
But before, when we had the police out,
Mhm.
we didn't have a court order, they said our hands were tied. They couldn't
Correct.
do anything. I just want to be sure that this ban allows them to do what we want when you
Yes.
call it. That's all I have.
And this ban is backed up by the LWDA policy as well. Well,
They can't hear.
okay.
It's moving over here. It's the microphone, it's garbled.
I'm sorry.
He wasn't even using it.
I don't have any more questions.
Anything else from the board? Policy 18, banning. Any opposed? All right, thank you. The next policy network is policy resolution 17, recharging electric vehicles. This right now is more for just a review. We're not gonna vote on it right now because we are having a company come, I think it's Beck.
Beck Engineering, yes.
Engineering is going to come to do a study of our electric grids. To see what we can and cannot do based on our ability that we have. And the idea, we know that, I know Richard, you're very interested in this, and electric vehicle, as are other people who own Priuses and Hondas and stuff, and Hyundai. That they want to know more about what we can do, and we want to oblige. I know when we would be like almost 4 or 5 years ago, when we put together the original policy on electric vehicles. At that time, electric vehicles were basically 120 volt items that you didn't have to worry about. Now we're in, electric vehicles charge on systems 2 and 3. They're getting more powerful. And it's not as simple as saying, okay, we can run a power line from this outlet down to this space and put in a monitor to see how much electricity they're using. Because it still comes down to, okay, that was back then, it was like, oh, there's only 1 or 2 in the entire campus. Now we have more over the entire campus and more in this building. So you have a different electrical load going around, and that's what we need to have our electric engineering to look at, to advise us so that we make the right decision and don't hamper what we have, don't put our building in danger. That's the basic. So this was what we're looking at right now, guys. We're gonna have a meeting. What day are we meeting with that?
April 8th at 2 o'clock.
Okay, and that will start off in open session.
Yes,
So anyone who has an interest can attend. We will go into executive session. At that point, but you'll be able there to at least ask some questions before we get into the sort of the nitty-gritty, okay? And then we'll be back out and we'll tell you what we learned.
And the attorney will be involved
And our
also.
attorney will be involved as well. Another thing on that, but the community associations and homeowners associations, this has become a much bigger issue than it was 5, 6 years ago. And so there's a lot more input coming in, and we want to evaluate all that so we make the proper decision.
What time, Jack?
It's at 2 o'clock on the 8th, correct?
Mhm.
So please come, if you have an interest in it, please come. All right, we'll move on to old business. And
Oh,
they are doing the job.
Good luck, Sam.
Yeah, and, hopefully what I'm looking forward to seeing is when they start looking up the back to Ox one. That's when, they won't know it's gonna become a focus. But I do want to thank the, working group here that worked on the plan and submitted the plan to both grounds, building the grounds and budget plans. And I'm sensing that in our budget and finance meeting this past week, I was really surprised when Audra was part of our advocate as well. She was talking, and convincing budget and finance that it's a good thing, we can afford it, so that's good. We'll see how it goes with the board meeting. That's coming up on April
seconds.
2nd. 2 p.m. No,
Great.
Oh, Speaking of solar lights, I don't think we got any pushback on solar lights at all. Except one person wanted to know, on the board. One of the other places could add more solar. I think it's crazy. Yeah, we there? Okay, we have, that's it for all of this, and we'll move on to residents telling through the next first speaker or less. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question about banning.
Yes.
So, how do we as residents know who's banned? So, I mean,
Well,
I think there's gonna be one on my floor, I think that's gonna be banned. And I don't know if they're banned or not, so.
We can't go by hearsay or anything like that for banning, so it's gonna have to be proof in the pudding right there. So,
So I have nothing to say about it. Somebody's acting up.
If you witness, or hear something coming from a unit that sounds threatening, or whatever you want to interpret, you report that.
Report it just to,
You report to the
Debbie?
office, yes.
and if it's on a weekend, I call the police or call
You can
security.
call the police, yes.
But I don't know anything about the person who's being banned.
No, you don't. know
And
anything
we're not
about the
supposed to.
person that's being-
Okay,
That's kind of the privacy of the person, the family, or the residents, the owner here. You're not gonna go, oh, you got a kid banned from here. Is it me?
no. No, but it does sound a little strange, but okay.
Anyone else? Oh, yes, ma'am.
I have a question about schematics of the building and the ductwork. And I'm just wondering if there's any way that the engineers can figure out where smoke is coming from, or I know that we dealt with food odors and things like that, but like the other night, or a couple of times, I have, left my kitchen and gone into my bedroom area. And there was a very, very strong odor, not of smoke, it might have been marijuana, I'm not sure what it smelled like. It was very, very strong.
Did you have a good time?
She went right to sleep.
But I get smoke a lot of times, more before the.
When you say
bed was
smoke, you're
finished.
talking tobacco.
What?
You're talking tobacco smoke.
Well, yes. I think people who have not been grandfathered in are smoking.
Yes, but the new residents are told you're not allowed to smoke. Someone could still go ahead and do it,
Yes,
and
and
unless you catch the red handed.
the others of us don't enjoy it.
Oh, I know.
So
I had that problem.
is it coming? I mean, I don't know if it's coming through the vents or upstairs, next door.
I don't think it's.
Your vent is like your water pipes. It's just your vent. It doesn't go to other units. That's your air vent.
Well, I was getting smoke in there, like a couple of years ago when, all the balconies shut off, all the windows are closed and everything. And I'm getting smoke in my condo. And
If you have a hole behind your sink or like where the pipes come in and everything, the smoke can be coming in there. If you have any kind of existing hole coming through your unit, then that's where it could be coming from.
It's very hard to trace, very, very hard to trace. Even when I had someone who was smoking above me, I never saw them. And I knew it was so strong, I'm talking cigarette smoke. It was so strong to me, but I had no way to say, yes, you're smoking, stop. But you can't, there's no way to track it down. You just gotta go on people realizing that I'm not allowed to smoke within the building. Okay, next one. Okay,
Along with this, I'm on the 11th floor. And I get some bad cooking odors. And it comes into my room under my door. I know where it's coming from. I went to the door is rattling because the windows are open. I went outside, it was raining, and I saw open windows. But it takes me up to 2 hours to clear that out of my condo with all of my fans running. I've spoken with management, I've spoken with them, they don't believe that these odors travel. I don't know how you fix it. And with your problem with the smoke, I had problems with the rooftop fan blowing on the 11th floor. Same thing, I get this back up, when the wind blows, it comes down in, backs up. And very strong fabric softener odors, same thing, and it hits me, and I have to leave my home and let it clear out. It might take a couple of hours.
yes,
I have the same problem with smoke, and I'm really happy to hear someone else reporting it. I was led to believe that no one else was having a problem. I find that it's definitely, it's not cooking odors, it's definitely smoke, but it's not a regular cigarette. It's some kind of something else that I'm not. But it's very strong. It happens mostly late night. I even went outside at 1 o'clock in the morning to figure out if it was coming from outside, and it was not. I definitely can feel it more, or sense it more strongly under my air vents. And what happens is my air vent is right across from my bed, and it blows on my bed and wakes me up. So it's not frequently, but it's very disturbing. And it's so hard to clear it out because once that odor comes into your place, there's nothing really to take it out.
I think maybe we need to do more education to residents.
I was so happy somebody else is reporting this.
Yes, ma'am.
On the noise complaint, I live right across from the elevator and right by the back door. Of course, the back door has a real loud noise when it opens and closes. Now that I don't have a dog, I've gotten used to the noise and it doesn't bother me. But the people that talk in the hall, they meet each other there and they're happy people, and I wouldn't want to put a damper on that, but they're so noisy and it comes under my door. That's a meeting place because they're waiting for the elevator or up. They've seen each other coming in and out. I just wanted them to be aware when they're talking real loud, walking down the hall, and the maids do that. Of course, they're speaking in Spanish, so I don't know what they're saying, but they're talking to each other real loud as they go down the hall, 8 o'clock in the morning. Some people are still asleep. People should be aware that when you're in the hall, the people in the condos can hear you. And it's, I was one through the back door, I know that. I had a thought then.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
I've always had the smell of smoke on the 4th floor since I'm living here. What I do is when it was really bad, it got better, is that I bought a spray. It's called smoke elimination. And I get up early in the morning and they spray before. And then I bought, a little electric air purifier. So when it's bad, I just put it on. But the fourth floor, I'm not mentioning names, but there's two people that smoke next door to each other. You pass it by, you know, and it's really bad. I mean, I make everybody laugh. We moved in, my daughter came to visit, she goes, "What is going on? Are you smoking now?" I said, "I never smoked a day in my life." She goes, "Well, your place leaks." And it did, the beginning, it was just awful. And that's what I did, I bought a can of that spray, and I go around the hall, and I spray it early in the morning.
So you're spraying the halls outside your unit?
Yeah, because it goes like, it goes from the door.
Yeah.
So me spraying my unit is not gonna solve it, it's just gonna solve it for an hour. So I spray the hall, I haven't done it recently, because it got better, but I used to spray the hall. And Roberts and Lessa, so we used to see me because we would walk early in the morning, and that's what I used to do.
Unfortunately, those folks are grandfathered in.
Yeah,
Some
that's
of the
grandfather.
people that you're talking about, my grandfather did.
Yeah, no, unless I told them.
No, you're not really.
No.
Okay, anything else? Yeah. So, incentives. That's okay. Okay. Last one already, should. Well, this is your fourth.
Well, one was as a chairperson. I want to speak about these electric vehicles. When I go in the garage and I see vehicles there, I hear the motors, engines, whatever it is, it's running. It does not make me feel safe. Does not, and there's nobody around, and the vehicles are, motors are running or whatever.
Very quiet.
We have to, but there's still nobody there.
No, that people have a thing where they can start their car from their unit, let the car warm up. They don't go out to the car in the 5, 6, 7 minutes.
And the fumes are there. I have to walk through the fumes. It's kind of not acceptable to me. And I also, when we're going to talk about this engineering for these battery chargers, there's a lot of moisture out there on those floors. And I just don't see that we can do that and keep us safe. We're not required to pass it. Other buildings have used it. So I think we need to think very seriously about it. The state might say it's okay, but the state or the Commonwealth of Virginia doesn't know the state of us, you know?
That's true.
So please take that into serious consideration.
Let me just make one correction. If you have an electric vehicle, you're on your car, it doesn't emit any emissions. The only vehicles that emit emissions are gas powered cars.
Well, some of those are running too and nobody's around.
Okay,
I witness it.
I'm just saying, that's the only one that's going to emit the emissions. That
understand.
can,
I
be gas
understand that.
Okay.
It's still a serious danger.
Okay, we have to go into executive session right now. So I want to thank everyone for coming to remind you on the 8th. Electric vehicle.
Yes.
If you're interested, come back. Thank you all for being here today. You will be We didn't have anything,